All right, what is up, everybody? You guys ready to get started?
Let's do this, man.
Absolutely.
Let's go.
Let's fucking do this. Let me pull up my notes.
Mm,
I wasn't quite
God.
prepared. I had to move like one thing.
Oh, a thing?
God damn it. I
You moved.
ruined. The whole show is ruined. I am sorry.
We just stumbled out the fucking gate, Danny. Thank you so much.
Hello and welcome to Next to Nothing, a podcast for gamers on a budget. I am one of your hosts, Danny K. With me, as always, now new and approved, Mr. Green Elite. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Danny?
I am doing well. Also, I don't know why I said you're new and improved. You're always been
Well,
perfect.
I'm doing like so much shit around my desk and like making my whole stream station look pretty.
Yeah,
And like I'm just waiting for everything else to come in and then I'll be like perfectly set.
yeah. Dude, I should actually be saying I'm new and improved because I got a new XLR cable, so no more like hitting the cable and like losing audio entirely. But I also kind of rearranged my desk a little bit, so everything is kind of out of the way. And the XLR cable I got is longer, so I was able to run it up and around my stand and everything like that. Anyways, I'm rambling. We have another co-host who has been patiently waiting for his introduction.
Thank you.
Revsfen, Padre, how you doing,
Wow.
Revsfen?
Dude, I'm doing really well. I've been having a great day, and now I get to spend my evening with you. And I guess him too, but
Yeah. So before we get into the meat of the show, because we do have things to talk about instead of just being goofballs, we are still sponsoring SWA Motorsports Racer Dead Shattern Zero as he hits the track in the Outsider Racing League. Watch him rep the NTN logo every Saturday night at 9 p.m. CST on the SYM, that's Sim TV YouTube channel. Links are in the description of this episode. And just a quick note for that, this week he has a new one-off car, and it'll be racing on his home track, the Iowa Speedway. So he better make me and Green proud
represent.
this week.
And I love the car. The car design is fantastic.
Oh, it's so good. Guys, go check him out at Dead Shattern Zero. No, it's just Dead Shattern. I'm sorry. At Dead Shattern. That's DeadChadon on Twitter, where you can see the beautiful image of his fucking car. It looks great with a little NTN logo on the back part of the fender there. It looks great. Anything else we have to get out of the way for the show? Otherwise, no, anything?
Nothing.
No, I think
Awesome.
we're good.
Otherwise, if you are new to the show, welcome. We hope you guys appreciate what we do here. If you like what we do here, follow us here on Twitch, all of our individual Twitch channels. You can also find us on Twitter. And if you really like what we do, maybe tell a friend. We appreciate that more than anything else. We have some things to talk about. Green, do you want to get right into this?
Oh, absolutely. We're gonna talk about Spellbreak.
Yeah, Spellbreak. So, real quick, I didn't put this in my notes, but I do, I have big brain and remembered this. Yeah, let's give a shout out to let's do a shout out to our friend Tommy Biggles, who actually gave both me and Green keys to the game.
Now I sound stupid because I've been calling him Big L's this whole time.
Well, he was supposed to go with Bigglesworth because I call him Bigglesworth, but that has been taken multiple times, multiple ways. So he will forever be Biggles in my heart.
Yes. So shout out to Biggles. He's also on an affiliate push right now. So guys, make sure when you go to Twitch, you go give him a follow and catch some of his streams. He does some awesome work over there. He was very kind to us. He's also a great friend of the show. So yeah, let's get into Spellbreak. I'll just kind of start us out here with Spellbreak. It is a fantasy third-person shooter battle royale currently in its beta builds. It's so far available on Windows in the Epic Games Store and on PS4. It is set for a full release December of this year, is what I saw. If that is, 100% accurate, remains to be seen because, COVID. Some minimum specs for people who might be interested: 64-bit Windows operating system. It said either 7, 8, or 10. Intel Core i3 2.4 gigahertz or equivalent processor. 4 gigs of RAM. It also suggests an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 640 or Radeon R7 or equivalent or higher graphics card.
Potato.
Yeah, it's not a very intensive game. I did find when streaming it, even at low settings, I would dip below 60 frames, but you know, between 50 and 60 frames is plenty, and that's under an additional load, not just under game. It ran perfectly fine and nice and smooth at ultra settings, not streaming. But when I was streaming, I noticed some dips, but that's not, again, streaming. The game follows the basic standard battle royale formula. You drop in, you loot, and you try to survive until you're the last person or team standing. The game currently offers solos and squads. Duos they're currently working on. It's locked out right now, which I thought was kind of weird. I don't know if they alternate between squads and duos in terms of the game, but yeah. So right now duos aren't available, but squads are, as well as solo. I'm gonna hand the rest of this, or at least talking about the actual combat, to you, Mr. Green Elite.
Yeah, so the combat's pretty interesting because it as you said earlier, it is third person. I'm not really used to like the whole third person aspect. I don't play a lot of Fortnite, and I know that's third person. The interesting thing is there's no guns. Like you're finding gauntlets to put on, and then like you have your belts, which are your armor. I don't understand how belts are armor. I don't get it, but I mean it works. And there's no like specific different belts or anything like that. There's you can also pick up amulets that increase like your magic, like your mana. They call it mana. Yeah, like a certain amount that you can use, and then it has to replenish, which is pretty quick, anyways. But you have different classes that you can select right off the bat for your main arm. There's lightning, wind, fire, rock, frost, and toxic, right? Or did I say toxic already?
Nope, that's correct. Yeah, I think you said.
Okay, yeah, six total.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, you get the main gauntlet. You use that. You can upgrade it to a higher tier because everything is on a tier system like every other battle royale. But you also have your second hand, which you can put another different type you have to find in the actual map and in game. Everything like kind of works together too. So like if you have frost and you pick up a toxic glove, you can freeze the toxic puddle that you make. Electricity works with stuff as well. I know electricity and toxic works because and if you make a puddle of toxic goo, you can electrify it and then it will shock anyone who steps in it. There is no fall damage too, which is pretty cool. And then you can also pick up what they're called runes, and that is like your like not necessarily passive ability, but it's like a mainly maneuverability. There's like a one where it turns you invisible, one that's like purely flight. You fly a certain amount of time, and then you drop back down, and then it restarts. There's one that's called Chronomaster, where you like start at a spot, you move, and then after a while, depending on how high the rune is and rarity, it'll send you back, and then to that spot that you started at. So, tinkering with those different setups is probably going to be your biggest thing. One of the biggest things I have to tell people is it can be extremely difficult, especially when you first start out. You have people who've been playing since alpha, and like, holy shit, they're they're fucking good. Like I get my shit stomped quite quickly and quite frequently in that
Oh yeah.
game. Oh yeah. One pet peeve I have is that the rune ability automatically gets keybind to shift. So if you're like me and play a lot of first person shooters, usually shift is your run. I end up hitting that button all the time and accidentally using my rune ability when I'm trying to run away from something. So that's what bugs me the most. Other than it being third person, I don't really care for third person games much, but that's always a personal preference. Coolest thing I found out is that frost. You can shoot your frost thing, and actually, you and your team can skate on that ice, and that is like huge for maneuverability, especially at the beginning of the game. Um, and it's so fun just to skate around and like yeet away from people that are like attacking you on that frost, and then eventually it like turns into a water puddle and you can't skate on it anymore. So, I mean, I think it's a fun game. The combat's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's interesting, and it does a lot. In terms of combat, it's really fresh. I can't think of too many other games that really do elemental combos like that, where when you do electric with this thing happens, and kind of playing that super that game of what will happen or what happens if. That's super interesting. And then also the accidental mixing of magic in a fight when like your opponent has fire and you accidentally, create a toxic flame.
Yeah.
And stuff like that that's really interesting. It makes every encounter a little bit different. I think there's going to be for sure like a meta of, oh yeah, stone's the way to go. Like stone.
Yeah.
Wait, and I think I'm actually saying that because I think Stone might actually be probably the most meta, because it just once you get that timing down, for Stone and understand how like the Stone work, how like the powers and the Stone Gauntlet work, you realize it does a shit ton of damage for like one hit. So,
Yeah. Like I think what was cool was if you use fire and wind, and like the special gauntlet ability for wind is making a tornado. If you blast that with fire, it will make like a fire tornado, and it's like one of those fantastic C-list movies from like Sci-Fi Channel, like Fire Tornado meets Shark Tornado.
I
Sharknado.
believe, yeah, I was going to say, I believe the scientific term is a Sharknado.
Sharknado. Sharknado 5.
Yeah. So yeah, I think combat is super fresh. I like quite a bit of what they do here. I don't have like perfect thoughts on the game. Kind of get towards our final thoughts. You want me to kind of talk about what I have for some final thoughts here, or do you want to?
Yeah. I've said my piece.
Yeah.
I think it's fun.
Yeah, no, it is fun and it's interesting and it's more unique than other battle royales definitely in the market right now. The game isn't bad by any means, so don't take these criticisms or critiques at all as if I'm saying the game is bad, because I'm not. This is just me being candid. I'm kind of in the same boat as you when it comes to third-person games. I'm not a fan of that point of view. I wasn't a fan of it in Fortnite. I don't like playing PUBG that way. There's just a lot of games, even like action role-playing games. I'm not a huge fan of third-person games. I'd rather have a top-down view for something like MMO or like an RTS or something like that. I'd rather have like a top-down view, or I'd rather be in first person. Just third person, I don't know what it is about that angle. I don't really care for it that much. And especially because the game is super chaotic, so having like that much just on the screen and like trying to maintain like your verticality and stuff like that gets really difficult in third person. at least for me, that's just me. The movement, I will say, there's sometimes I noticed it felt a little off and a little floaty, which sounds weird because there is like a lot of flying and stuff like that. But I'm talking kind of like in like when you're on the ground and stuff like that. It felt like there'd be times where maybe like I just ran for like a little bit too long when I actually stopped putting the input in. Stuff like that. Even for a game that has a lot of that's very aerial and has a lot of verticality, I'd rather have a little bit more fine tune, and that could be down to, you know, all things being fair and consider it, it could just be down to my hardware, or it could be down to my connection, my internet connection at the time. Those are options as well. I could also see this. I'm kind of curious, maybe if I would enjoy the combat even just that a little bit more, because I am on keyboard and mouse, maybe with a controller. One of the big things I found like I struggled with is, so by default your primary fire is your left click, and then your secondary fire is your right click. And so having those mapped and having to do, you know, 1 2 1 2 1 2 felt a little awkward. So I almost wonder if having like a controller where you could you know, have your triggers or your bumpers, I wonder if that would almost make that feel better. You guys know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did you struggle with that at all, doing like the 1 2 1 2?
Not really. I'm used to like specifically like Modern Warfare, where like akimbo guns.
Mm-hmm.
It's one, two, you know, left and right.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was used to I don't primarily like hit both at the same, you know, alternately. Like I was set to where, okay, I want to use some wind right now, and then try to follow it up, you know, a few shots after with my main one.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, because I was kind of thinking it was another part of it was, you know, because like trying to do combos. So, you know, I found that I really enjoyed the Tempest, or like the air gauntlet, as my base, and then alternating with either the toxic or the fire. And so trying to remember, or trying to combo quickly was kind of just an issue with that. Again, I don't know. I mean, controller might make that better. So if you have a controller and you struggle with something like that in the game, that might make the experience a little bit better. Just a thought. Overall, I think it has a lot of interesting concepts built into it, and the elemental aspect of the game is a very nice twist to Battle Royale. But there isn't like a ton more here that really makes the game separate from Battle Royales, in my opinion. It just kind of relies on the formula of Battle Royales. There's nothing that makes it different in that aspect. Combat makes it different, but in terms of actual gameplay loop, it's just like every other Battle Royale. So that it would be kind of nice and interesting to see if they can change up the formula in any way. Because right now it just feels like every other Battle Royale in terms of the actual gameplay loop. So that's something I hope to see change in the future. Maybe, you know, see, you know, the Modern Warfare has the contracts system. Maybe do something like that. It would be kind of cool if just like thinking into like my D&D days, you know, maybe you have to cast a ritual. You have to go, your team has to go somewhere, have to cast a ritual, and that gives you either buffs, or you have to, or it gives you like you know, it opens up a new room or something like that. Something like that would be cool. I don't know. Just a random thought that I just had. Other than that, I don't think I have much else to mention on Spellbreak right now.
Yeah, no, I think that's pretty much all out on the table.
Yeah. Rev, Padre, thoughts, questions, opinions, anything you want to share?
No, I don't know much about the game other than I've seen a couple of friends play it, and it does seem like it would be a fun game to play. I just never really got around to trying it. I don't typically play a lot of BR style games or even shooters as a whole, but with that one having kind of like the magic aspect to it, it's something I would definitely check out. I just haven't I haven't gone as in depth.
Gotcha. Awesome. I can't think of anything else. What's up?
I think it's the closest we'll get to Harry Potter without actually having like until Harry Potter actually comes out with a game.
Yeah. That's a great point.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we'll move on to the other game we've played this week, or at least Padre has played this week. Someday You'll Return.
Played it. Yeah.
Nice.
All right. So I picked up. I managed to get my hands on a key for a game called Someday You'll Return. It is a first-person survival horror, psychological horror, claustrophobic nightmare, where you play this man whose daughter has gone missing. Apparently, she's a serial runaway, and she went missing in the woods of the Czech Republic. Now, you start out, you're actually on the screen right now seeing the prologue where you're actually playing as the daughter. It took me way longer than it should have just to get through this prologue because I was terrified that something was going to jump out at me. So I was like monitoring every aspect of turning and everything. Nothing happened. I was like, great. So, so what ended up happening was I got out into the woods and I'm looking for my daughter. And this is like my favorite part of the whole game. You actually have to navigate this thing as if you were actually out there. You do get your phone with GPS, but if you hit dead spots, you can't access your GPS, and you actually have to watch trail markers as if you're actually out hiking in these woods, which was actually pretty cool. As somebody who loves going hiking, it was a really cool little aspect of the game until you got down into the area where you're seeing in this prologue and everything became super claustrophobic intense. I couldn't finish it on, I couldn't keep going on stream because I was just like a nervous wreck about it. Horror games like kind of get to me sometimes, but for some reason, the claustrophobic element of this, I had to call it quits. I ended up revisiting it later on and kind of continuing through. I didn't finish it, and I don't know that I ever will, but probably the easiest way that I could sum up how this game feels is it's as if Silent Hill took place in the woods and the mountains. There are all these kind of like weird creatures and beings and stuff that are out here with you. Of course, there's the psychological element of it that a lot of games have now, a lot of horror games have nowadays, where it ends up turning out that, oh, this person was just crazy the whole time kind of thing. I won't reveal who, but there were a few things that I actually had I did have some complaints on it. Apparently I wasn't the only one because I kind of went in and did some digging on some other reviews and such on it after, and it seemed like a lot of people felt the same way I did. And there were a lot of the puzzles and stuff like that felt just entirely unnecessary and kind of felt like they were just put there to extend the game because they weren't very difficult. And all they were just time consuming. So like the game has a total runtime of about 15 hours. That being said, if it's something you're even interested in picking up, wait till it's on sale because it's like $35 out the door or out the gate. And I'm not really into that. But aside from that, the artwork is fantastic. The way they set up the scares in it and the tension and everything was absolutely outstanding. My biggest complaints were just the fact that some parts took a little bit too long. And if that's really the biggest complaint I have, that's pretty good. Now it takes up about 13 gigs of space on your hard drive. It's kind of a chunky little indie game. They recommend that you have an Intel i7 or higher, an 8 gigs of RAM, not just 4 like most games that I play, and an NVIDIA 1060 or better, which I can understand. The graphics on it are actually really good. It was released by CBE Software, and it was just released back on the 5th. So I got my hands on it on launch day, and it was good. Metacritic gave it a 61, and personal opinion, even with the few problems I did run into, I would probably give it a little bit higher than that. I don't think 61's being fair. I think Metacritic might be comparing it to some bigger titles, and that's just not really a fair comparison to make. But all in all, it was actually a really fun game. Once I finally got past the whole, I got to get through this claustrophobic part and move forward. Once I got past that, it became a pretty enjoyable game, even though I didn't.
Let me double check. Let me refresh my monitors here.
Miggity mic check 1 2 1 2. Oh, it looks like we're back.
Looks like we're back. Okay.
All right.
So you were talking about someday you'll return.
Mhm.
And kind of go back a couple steps from where we think we lost everyone.
Okay, so I think about where I lost. I was talking about it was right after I was talking about the specs that they require for this game, or the recommended one rather, not really the required. And I did mention that Metacritic gave it a 61, which I didn't think was entirely fair. I think that's a little low. It is, in personal opinion, it was a pretty good game after I was able to get past the whole claustrophobic aspect of it. Um, but yeah, aside from those little issues with like the just kind of lengthy time consuming puzzles, it was a great game. But once again, I would recommend until to wait till it's on sale, just because of the fact that it is $35 for about 15 hours of gameplay. And it didn't feel as though it felt really linear, as if there's not like and when I say linear, I mean story wise. Like, it didn't feel like there would be branched out story endings to go anywhere. But it was, yeah, no, it was really good. I enjoyed it. But that's really all I really had to say on it. It was a good game, a little overpricey. Some aspects of it could have been shortened down a little bit. Aside from that, pretty good game.
Cool. In terms, so it is a horror game, you said, and it's very claustrophobic. So would you say it's more psychological horror, or is it more does it kind of get into the jump scares, kind of the physical slapstick kind of horror?
It does have some jump scares in it, but they're not like unwarranted jump scares, you know? They're not like excessive in a sense that they're there just for the sake of getting a cheap scare out of people. A lot of it is that kind of, as I always describe my favorite kind of horror games, the ones that when you're done playing it, you don't really think much of it after until it's time to start turning off the lights to get ready to go to bed. Then you start turning the lights off and leaving the room a little bit faster than you normally would. Um, I would highly recommend that our friend Green play it. I think he would love it.
No. No.
The indignation in his voice.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, no, but aside from that, it was it blended it well. It blended the
Hell
jump scares
no.
with the storyline real well. But there was some real trippy crap in the woods, man. I'll tell you right now, if I after playing it, if I were to ever go hiking and it were to start to get dark, I would probably just give up on life at that point and just lay down and die, because I don't know that I would be able to handle all of the just stress that game probably has locked away in the back of my mind.
Yeah. It looks gorgeous. It When I was looking at it, it looks like it's built in Unity, or I'm sorry, not Unity. Unreal Engine.
Yes,
It fucking looks gorgeous. Very moody.
yes, it's good. That's what I'm saying. Like, even for being an indie game that went under the radar, like I got an email about it from a developer, and they were like, "Hey, would you like a key?" I'm like, I've never heard of this. And so I looked at it and I was like, yes, I would. Yeah, 100% I would. And then afterwards, I'm like, I regret every decision that led me up to this point, because it was, I've never had it. Like, I've never had a game make me physically just have to give up and turn it off because of just how the anxiety of the claustrophobic atmosphere made me feel. It was insane, man. It was crazy, but it definitely lives up to some high standards on graphics in indie games.
Nice.
No.
So, Green, any thoughts, questions, opinions that you want to share on this game?
No.
You ain't got any. You want to play it.
No. I was saying the whole day. No.
I need that as a sound clip now.
Right?
Yeah. No.
he knowed so loud that his camera went out of focus.
Yeah, it's like
it read the reverb of the sound waves of the no.
Resounding no. It's not happening. Not this time. That's like, I have some very simple fears, and that is claustrophobia, heights, and falling. Okay, and then mix that in with jump scares. No, pass.
Yeah, I will
Or
say though,
no.
I was really impressed with the actual like kind of survivability mechanics of it, of like your typical like trail markings and stuff like that. Because you find signs that tell you exactly how long trails are, what they're marked by, and all of this stuff. And you actually have to go out and like your GPS will kind of tell you where you need to go and which trail you need to follow. But then your GPS will lose signal, and you have to follow the trail markers. I was actually really impressed with that aspect. I think exploration style games could probably benefit from it because there were no like heads up display markers that tell you need to go here. Like just follow this dot for however many meters and you'll be where you need to go. It was really impressive to have to actually follow trail markers and backtrack through those same trail markers. Loved it.
Yeah. It looks really good. You said it's a 15-hour experience almost?
Yeah, it's about 15 hours. It took me whenever like I didn't like I said I didn't finish it. I don't know how close I was to the end, but I got a solid 8 in before I ended up just calling it quits. And yeah, I might go back and finish it because if I'm that close, I might as well. But I typically fall a little bit behind the average gameplay time because one, I die a lot. I'm horrible, and there's a lot of stealth in this game where you actually have to kind of because you don't have weapons. You have to sneak around things in these woods that can one shot you. Um, so I don't know if I was even like at the typical 8-hour mark or if it was just 8 hours for me. But I mean, 15 hours is a pretty short experience for that amount of money, in my opinion.
Yeah, gotcha. I can't think of any other questions I have about this. Green?
I can
No,
get you a copy of it, Green.
no, thank you.
Oh, come on, Green.
Hard, no. I'm literally needing my wrist rest right now. Like just thinking about playing another horror game.
Oh, man.
It's not happening.
We'll make
So,
him do it.
No, I won't. I won't do
look,
it.
my bank account's
I'm
got
not doing it this time.
my bank account has to recover a little bit before I can even offer him money.
Right.
There's no amount of money, especially when there's claustrophobia involved. Like, yeah, there's no amount of money for that.
Like the first place you go after you arrive in the woods, when you follow the trail markers, the first place you go is into like an underground bunker, the same one you saw in the prologue. But the whole thing is nothing but just, I mean, shoulder to shoulder wall, and you're like walking slow, and things are crumbled around you. And, oh my god, it's bad.
You know what I feel? You know what I had to say about that? Eat ass. I'm not doing it.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, buddy.
Yeah, no, nope.
Lolsies.
Uh,
Lolsies.
I will say though, on the flip side of the whole thing, with it being a relatively expensive game, I will break off into just a short tangent about an actual free to play horror game that I got into that I was actually playing earlier today, and this is something I would recommend to anybody that just likes a good kind of cheap jump scare pickup. It's called Dark Deception. It's essentially just horror movie Pac-Man, like first person Pac-Man with scary monkeys chasing you that look like they're something from Five Nights at Freddy's. It's a lot of fun. It's it's free, and then you can run it on a potato. Highly recommend.
Nice.
Yeah,
For if you don't want to drop the $35.
Yeah, I was playing Apex earlier today, and I look over because I had it on my second monitor, and all of a sudden a fucking monkey came on my screen, and
Did it scare you, Green?
it scared the piss out of me.
Imagine how I felt. Damn monkeys.
Well, so you just mentioned Apex, which we'll do this here, and then we'll take a break. But Apex had a big update today. Green, why don't you tell us about this big old update?
Yeah, 8.5 gigs. So season 5 started today at noon Central Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific. They introduced a new legend. Yeah, Pacific Standard Time. Yeah. They introduced a new legend named Loba. They actually hinted in her last season, at the beginning of the season with uh, Revenant, during the trailer, that the little girl turns into Loba in that video. If you haven't seen that video, I highly recommend going to YouTube, looking it up. Tales from the Borderlands, Revenant, and then the Loba one. You'll get the gist. You'll figure it out. She's pretty interesting. They've made some adjustments to the map as well. Kings Canyon is back officially, at least for 2 weeks. And they've changed the map. They've done some different areas are now no longer there. There are different things. Um, um, they've made some. The Mastiff is now swapped with the Peacekeeper. So the Mastiff you can pick up anywhere in the map. They've increased the ammo size to 6 in the magazine. They've nerfed it a little bit from when you get it from a regular, like a care package drop. And the Peacekeeper is now a gold weapon. That one, I know they've considerably buffed the PK too, so you can't just find it. There has been a few issues, like server side, as well as some download issues. So that's something to keep in mind. If you're having any issues when you first join in, like when you're starting to see like things are like blacked out and stuff, re-verify your game files, because 2 people that are playing with today, they re-verified their game files after doing the download, and they were missing like 14 gigs of the game. So, I mean, there's been some issues with this update. The servers seem to be a little bit more laggy, but I'm sure a lot of people are playing it right now too. So I'm expecting another patch soon. I would say within like the next week or two, just to fix those bugs. But all in all, it's been pretty interesting. Like I've been having fun with it too. Loba is super fun to play. She has like this wrist, like a band that she like throws, and then she teleports to wherever it goes to. And then like her ult, she sets down her staff, and anything in that vicinity, you can actually pick up from that the staff, instead of actually trying to find it in that area. So like if you find a Spitfire or something and you want to pick it up with that staff, you can. It'll actually take it from where it was sitting to that staff and to you. So you could potentially steal it for someone who's just about to pick it up. So it's been pretty interesting.
It's basically like a loot magnet.
Yes, essentially like a loot magnet. It's called like the black market. So she sets down the staff. Like let's say you're at market, the location on Kings Canyon, and you set that thing down. Anything in the ring radius of that staff will be shown in like a menu, and essentially you can pull out 2 items from that menu, and then you're done. I know enemy teams can use it as well. So after you're done using it, like your whole team's done using it, you want to take it away. Like you can collapse it by pressing H, I think, on keyboard. I don't know what the key is for controller players or console players, but yeah. So like if you have something on the far end of the market, or wherever you're at when you place that, it'll come up on the menu. You select it, it goes to you. That item is no longer where it was in the map. So anything laying down that's not being used by someone.
Nice. Then did we talk about her ult?
That is her ult.
Okay, that is her ult. Okay.
Yep, the black market. Yep, and then her Q is the wristband that she can throw and teleport to.
Okay.
She does have a passive.
Yeah.
That she can see like high tier loot through walls and stuff like that, and in supply bins, anything that's purple or higher, they can see through and see, as long as they haven't been touched.
Yeah.
So like if someone has one on their body, it doesn't show up. But like if you're just landed, you can see through the walls. If there's something purple, you can go grab it.
Mm-hmm.
see it right through there.
Yeah. And then there's also been changes to Kings Canyon as a map, right?
Yes, Skull Town's gone.
You're broken.
My baby.
You're
My
heartbroken.
baby. I love that location, and now it's like broken into like the ocean or whatever, and there's like some buildings around it. I mean, which is pretty fun to land at. A lot of people land there now. It's like a hotspot. So, but yeah, like a few things have changed, but it's not drastic. That's the most drastic part. Is the Skull Town's gone. What else? There's been some buffs and nerfs as well.
Yeah, and we could probably get into like those buffs and nerfs next week, because our guest.
Mhm.
Should we say who our guest is next week, or doesn't matter to me? We have Viva Pinata coming on as our guest next week, and he is a massive fan of Apex Legends. He actually asked, so is it okay if I talk about it next week? I'm like, yeah, because I haven't got my hands on it, the new Apex update yet either. So we can probably get into some of those finer details. But they did nerf my boy Pathy. They nerfed Pathfinder.
Oh.
And buffed Mirage and changed
yeah.
a few different ones.
Yeah.
Padre coming up in the world. Woo.
Right? Because you are a Mirage player. You alternate between Octane and Mirage.
Yes, but now Loba's probably going to be my main.
Oh, yeah.
For a while. I've been having a lot of fun with her. Like, and she's dummy thick. Like, fucking dummy thick. Like, stupid dummy thick.
She'll suffocate a man with them thighs.
Yeah, like, I'm not even going to lie. Like, it is a cartoon. You know, it is not real, but she is dummy thick. No, I'm not lying.
I know you're not.
Lie about this.
I know you're not. Padre, thoughts, opinions, questions?
I haven't got to start playing yet. I plan on playing some tonight, assuming there's not any issues going on with servers and stuff like that. I really like the idea of her ult, because I will say this, whenever they first showed her initial trailer, all I could think was, okay, so Sombra from Overwatch is the new hero on here with the the orphan teleportation abilities, all that stuff. But knowing that she has the black market thing, because Sombra's deal was she's a hacker, and then with her ability to see all the high tier loot through the walls and stuff like that, I was thinking, okay, it's Sombra. But judging from like the stuff I've seen more into the lore of it, her attitude doesn't kind of match up at all. Like, so if you were just to put the character side by side, not show like powers and such, it would be like a completely different thing. But aside from that, I haven't got to really look too much into it yet, but I want to play tonight, as long as server issues don't come into play.
Excellent. I can't think of anything else that we need to talk about in terms of this story here.
If we think of anything, we'll just bring it up next week.
Yeah. I think we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with some news and some other things that we can talk about here. Guys, stay right there. It'll be 2 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome
And we're back. Thank you guys for letting us take that break. Ooh, look at that look that Green is giving everybody. Holy cow. Who's that, mama?
Like a piece of meat.
So there hasn't been a real ton of news. Nothing like super interesting or like earth shattering. One thing I found interesting though that I did see is Cyberpunk 2077 got the ESRB labels announced or released or leaked or whatever, which I found interesting just because it circles back to a thing that we talked about some weeks ago, which was the new ESRB labels where it's required that companies display on there if there's in-game purchases for the rating. And one of our biggest things was it was kind of toothless just based that label anyways was kind of toothless just based on the fact that games are they're a fluid medium, and you could release a game without microtransactions or without extra purchases available, but then a month later have those there. And so what's the point of having it on the box if that can change at any point in time? And so with Cyberpunk getting that rating on it, getting the in-game purchase label tagged to it, we learned actually a few things when a Cyberpunk PR person came out and kind of clarified why that was there. They said that the rep basically said that it had to be there because they might be selling DLC later down the line, and that any game that might have in-game purchases is going to be required to have that label on there. So if there's any chance that a game dev on a project will be selling a DLC or microtransactions at any point in the future, they have to have it on there. It doesn't matter if it actually happens or if it doesn't, or if it does happen or if it doesn't, but it has to be there if they are thinking about selling DLC or microtransactions down the line.
It makes me wonder if they do that and a game decides later down the road that that's what they want to do. Are they just completely restricted from doing it?
That's a great question. I don't know. And it's still, I mean, I thought about that too, and I'm still kind of in this mind of, okay, great. I mean, you can predict a lot of games that are going to have microtransactions and DLCs. Call of Duty, there's never not going to be a Call of Duty anymore that doesn't sell microtransactions or DLCs. I mean, I think from Modern Warfare, the original Modern Warfare, they've always sold map packs and stuff. So I don't know. That's one of those things. I'm just like, it still feels toothless. But this at least adds some clarity that if DLCs are going to be a thing for a game, then people are going to know about it right away. Yeah, that's kind of it on that. And the other thing that we learned is that Cyberpunk fans are probably going to get some DLC, probably like 6 months after the game releases. If I were to throw a guess out, probably be about.
They're going to end up getting that. They're going to get that DLC that allows you to even further customize your genitalia.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to give you, it's going to give you all those purple schlongs, and just you long as hell, ribbed for her pleasure, purple schlongs.
Wasn't that from the Saints Row games?
Yeah, I know you could get like a dildo bat. Yeah, you could get like a giant dildo bat in like Saints Row 4.
Mm-hmm.
And a launcher.
That's what the DLC is going to be on this. It's going to be the crossover.
Yeah.
I'm with it.
The base game is only going to allow you to adjust the length. The DLC is going to allow you to adjust the girth.
Piercings.
Imagine just the power move of because I think it's going to be like so customizable for like I hope there's like robotics and shit like that. But just imagine like the power move that would be. Someone makes the smallest, fucking pinky dong, and it's robotic too. It's like you had the option to go fucking monstrous with that thing, but you decided to go tiny and pinky like. So yeah, that's it. I mean, it's just nice to know. At least, I mean, I don't think people really worry about CDPR being the issue here. It's the other publishers and developers. It's the EAs, it's the Ubisofts and Activision Blizzards that people are really concerned about pulling a bait and switch with this label thing. I think hopefully that's enforced, and it's just like, yeah, look, if you even have it in your roadmap, in your pre-development roadmap, it has to be on the label. Doesn't matter if it happens. If it's on the pre-development roadmap, then it's going to be there. If it's that's what I'm hoping. That's what my fingers are crossed. Because again, at that point, then what's the point of the label? It's fucking toothless, like we said before.
Exactly. It's like that. It's like that shining light that you're hoping is not a train coming down the tunnel.
Right. Go ahead, Green. You have any thoughts, opinions, questions?
No.
Sorry, I thought I heard you like click in there for a second.
No.
No thoughts are on this at all.
It's pretty straightforward. Like I'm definitely interested to see how this turns out, how this pans out. We need to know.
Yeah, and I mean these early tests for a label like this are going to be where we see its
effectiveness. Yeah.
Its effectiveness, its efficacy.
Legitimacy.
It's legitimacy, yeah, exactly. And again, like another thing that we talked about, and I'm kind of very curious to see is, what are they doing to educate parents on what that meaning is, and on what the terminology is? Because, if someone's looking at, not that I say that parents should buy their kids Cyberpunk 2077, but understanding what that part of the label means is important. It's kind of like putting a health warning in a carton of cigarettes and half the population not understanding what it means. Yeah, so next, not that it's, again, not like a super huge story because it happens every fucking year. People act like Steam leaks are a fucking big deal. They're not. They happen literally every year. But the Steam Summer Sale dates leak. Yeah.
It leaked again.
Again. It's almost as if data miners are searching it out. It's like the last 5 years it's leaked. Like at this point, it's just not a fucking leak. It's just news. So according to sources, I'm going to say this is still allegedly because these are leaks. But according to sources, the Steam Summer Sale will allegedly be happening June 25th and will be ending on July 9th. Of course, the Steam Summer Sale, everyone's favorite time of year to waste all the money they fucking can and build up a game library that they're never going to play through. And I say this guiltily. I still haven't played like half the fucking games that I've picked up. Like I still have not played South Park: The Stick of Truth. Sorry. I picked it up for like $9 like 6 months after it released, and I still haven't finished it. Yeah, so that's coming up, which will be very nice for people.
Yeah, I'm gonna spend some money.
So one thing I will mention, so there's some other information there about a possible loyalty program, which I found very interesting. It would include digital items, Steam badges, and possibly even discounts on games. This is all unverified, of course, so don't get too excited. Don't get too uppity about it. But I do like the idea of a loyalty system as the market diversifies. As more companies and competitors show up with, standing against Steam. At a certain point, it's not going to be about what games are available, because the game, obviously content is king, but there's going to be a point in which that's not necessarily everything. And so having some other benefits and rewards for using a platform to buy a game, especially, once we get to the point where like Borderlands 3 is on Steam now. So for the people that held out, are they going to get rewarded for holding out and buying on Steam as opposed to Epic? Of course, people choose to do that for a variety of reasons, because they don't trust Epic. Or they don't like the almost bait and switch that's happened with games like Metro Exodus and Shenmue 3. But for someone like me, it might come down to, well, what is one platform over another going to give me? I still prefer Steam, because Steam has better servers and better friends listing and stuff like that. I mean, it's hard to. Steam makes everything so easy. It's almost ridiculous when you go to other platforms. Origin.
It's the OG too. It's the OG Mac Daddy.
Yeah. What would you guys like to see in a loyalty system, in a reward system on one of these game platforms? We'll go with you, Green. We'll start with you.
Honestly, I don't know. Like maybe some like it has like a certain set games that have like skins and stuff like that in that game. CS:GO has like the stuff that you can distribute through Steam. I don't know. Other than that, like maybe like a game that's like super cheap, like after a while, like gets thrown in there too, where you get that for free after buying so many games. I don't know.
Almost like a cashback kind of thing. Like you buy enough games on Steam, you get just like funds added to your Steam wallet, since that's the thing.
Yeah. Something like that.
Just nothing major, just a like 10 cents here and there until it eventually adds up, and you can get you like a little indie game for free or something.
Yeah, and maybe they could get rid of that stupid card system. You guys know the Steam trading card system where you can like sell trading cards for like pennies.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of goes along with their skin system. Yeah, we can do without that. Maybe swap things around, and I would like a cashback system. It's I could also see like because Valve has their own games, maybe you get a free Valve game every a free retro Valve game at a certain point, or like with if you accrue so many points, if you do it like you get like Half-Life for free, and then you accrue more points, and then you get like Left 4 Dead for free, and then accrue more points, and then Half-Life 2 and Counter-Strike or whatever else.
I mean, heck, even if you can exchange like whatever you're getting out of this loyalty program just for like discounts on things, like not even like necessarily free stuff, but like you get like a half off deal for a Valve game at a certain level or something. Just like nothing extravagant, obviously, because you can't really expect that out of many organizations at all these days, but just just something to kind of make you want to buy your games through them.
Yeah. Well, looking outside of Valve, because or outside of Steam, I should say, what about Epic and GOG and some of these others? I mean, what would you want to see out of some of their loyalty programs if they want to try to come up with them?
Origin gives out some Apex skins or something like that. That would probably be like your big one for them, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
And then same with like Battle.net with Overwatch. Like you get like one of those premium skins, like the Overwatch, like maybe you get a free Overwatch League skin or something. Because a lot of the other ones, they have like their kind of like what their linchpin benchmark game is. Like Battle.net, it's like you got people playing Modern Warfare and Overwatch through that launcher, and that's like about it. And Origin is the same with like Apex is like the big one. Steam doesn't really have that, so it'd be different. Like I figure they would probably be pretty title specific. Like they would go straight for some special stuff for this particular game.
Yeah, I could see with Epic, maybe like if they do like a loyalty program where, more like how they do their free games, they maybe add a bonus in for users who spend so much a month. You know, if you spend $60 in the month of June, you get this game for free as a bonus. Because they already make those deals, so I could see it. You know, they bundle it together with like another deal. It's like you can claim this game, and then you can get its sequel for free if you spend more than $60 on Epic Game Store.
That would actually be pretty cool. That would be a good move on their part. But like judging from the emails and stuff that I get as a part of their support a creator program, it feels like maybe they would give you like a battle pass on Fortnite for free or something. And that's what you'd get. Just because it's like almost every email I ever get from Epic is based around Fortnite, even though like I got on that program through Dauntless and have never played Fortnite on stream. But you know, it's their cash cow, so you can't really blame them for it. So I could see them doing something like that, but I like your idea better.
Yeah. I like my idea too. Epic, you guys should hire me. Let me just like really
give this man a job. Epic, stop dropping the ball and pick up the Danny, okay?
Pick up the Danny.
Even if Danny worked for Epic, I don't think I've not spent a single penny in Epic Game Store.
Oh, ever. I would revoke my support a creator program access and uninstall it if Danny started working for him, just out of spite.
Yeah, I can't really think of any other reward programs like GOG. I can't think of anything that I could see myself really like going over to GOG for much more than just the fact that, I mean, their hook is DRM free. So if there's a game that I fucking want that's DRM free, that's kind of where I'm at with it. But no, I can't think of anything specific for GOG that would be a good loyalty program. Yeah, Origin. I mean, a lot. Yeah, like the free battle pass stuff. You know, you spend so much and you get like a free battle pass, but that's about it. Any other anything else you guys want to mention with this Steam Summer Sale leak and the, you know, possibility of a loyalty program?
No,
just keep your eye out.
I think we threw around some decent ideas.
Yeah, and I think if I remember last year, Epic did a summer sale like a month later, I want to say.
Yeah.
So keep an eye out for that. Humble Bundle does some summer sales as well. Yeah, that's really about it on that particular topic, I think. I did see some stuff. I mean, in terms of news, we could have talked about the Xbox thing, but I think it was just kind of best said by the PR people that it's just, we set the expectations wrong and we apologize. There's not much else to really say about that. For once, you know, a corporation's PR people said the right thing into some negative responses. I have been seeing some stuff because E3 was canceled due to COVID-19 and the general public health crisis surrounding that, or a lot of the games festivals were. I have seen like Ubisoft and some other companies said that they will be doing an announcement very soon, or announcements in June or July. And I believe I saw one for Sony in June or July. Yeah, so that stuff we'll be looking out for. I know last year we did an E3 extravaganza that obviously can't happen this year. Because there is no E3, so we'll kind of figure that out as we go along.
We'll do something fancy.
We'll do something fancy.
Next to nothing summer blowout. Bam.
Bam.
I'll probably talk about some random obscure indie game again.
You'll cover all the Devolver Digital stuff.
There you go. Deal.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else that needs to really be said in terms of news. Anything, guys?
No, I think Bruce,
With everything that's been going on, man,
week.
it kind of makes it hard to get news, because
Yeah.
there's just like the world has kind of come to a screeching halt. It's
Yeah.
makes it difficult. It's hard times, man.
Yeah, it's hard. Well, and this is the point in time in which everything gets announced. This is when rumors start flying, and things are delayed, and now everything is kind of scattered in the wind in terms of how game devs and publishers promote their stuff. It's a little hard to kind of gather all the ashes, I should say. That is the corpse of E3.
Yeah. Now, I will say there was one piece of there was a game that was announced that I am so excited for that it almost slipped my mind until just now. It just like hit, and that's they announced The Medium, which is the new game from Bloober Team, the guys that did Layers of Fear 1 and 2, Observer, Blair Witch, all those, like the ones that got me kind of into indie horror games. Yeah, they're getting ready to release this game called The Medium, and it's been like in the works for like 5 years now. They've had a special team working on this game for a while, and I saw the trailer, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. I am so excited for it, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it. It's coming to like the Xbox Series X. It's going to be next gen, and oh, it looks good.
Yeah.
That's my big.
Who hurt you?
I love you by not playing horror games, Green.
Who hurt you?
Lol.
I don't get it.
Okay, so I don't think there's anything else for us to talk about here, so we'll wrap things up. Mr. Green Elite, what is coming up on your channel?
Oh, I think you know. I really do. I'm gonna be playing some Apex pretty much all week. That is Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday I'll be on. You can catch me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Mr. Green Elite. Everything on my socials is Mr. Green Elite except for Instagram. It's TTV Mr. Green Elite because I hate people. And I like to make everything so confusing because of real estate people named Mr. Green. So, but yeah, other than that, it's gonna be all Apex all the time. It's like I can't get enough of this dummy thick Loba.
Lol.
Dummy thick.
His screen time has been like 6 hours, but his only play time has been like 5 minutes. He's been spending the whole time staring at the character select screen.
Yeah. Revsven, what's coming up on your channel?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. Deer Simulator is going to be on my channel on Thursday. I'm really excited for that because I found it like right before we started the show, and I was like, "Yep, this is the one. This is what's going to happen." You can find that over at twitch.tv/RevSpin. And then you can also find me on all social media platforms at RevSpin TV. Aside from that, Saturday, I'm going to try to pick up another horror game, and I may be playing some more Dark Deception after Green plays it for about an hour and a half. Because I'm going to get him to play this game somehow. I don't know what I have to do, but I will. But yeah, I'll probably be playing some of that this weekend. It'll be a fun time. But that's really all I have planned right now.
Excellent. And all your socials?
Oh yeah. I said they were at RevSpin TV everywhere.
Sorry, I was getting something prepped.
He's looking at pictures of Loba, you son of...
Yup.
Oh, yeah, dummy thick.
Yeah, so coming up on my channel, I'll be playing Apex for sure sometime this week. Gonna continue with Fallout Fridays. I don't know if I'm gonna continue with the YouTube thing that I was doing. That's a lot of work and time that I kind of don't have. So we'll see. I also might need to actually restart the playthrough because my build is kind of wrong for what I want to do. So we'll see.
What do you want to do?
I want to be the worst asshole in the fucking Mojave Desert. And
hell yeah.
Evidently to be mean in that game, you have to be smart. So So yeah, that's where I'm at with that, unfortunately. I am going to maybe check out a game called The Cycle. It's free on the Epic Game Store. I'm interested in checking and seeing what that's all about. Otherwise, yeah, Apex, Fallout, and that's about it. If you guys are interested in linking up with me on social media, you can find me on Twitter at DannyK and on Instagram at DannyK. Twitch.tv/DannyK. Really easy. DANIECAE is how you spell that. And I think that's going to wrap it up for this week. So let's go on ahead and get you guys out of here. We sincerely appreciate all of you for taking the time to watch and listen to the show. You guys are the reason we do this, and we hope each week that we bring you what you ask for. Sincerely, if you guys want to let us know what we're doing wrong, what we're doing right, reach out to any of us, hit us up in the DMs or tweet at us, or join us during the stream, and send us messages or whatever else. If you guys missed any part of the show or want to catch up on some older episodes, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and everywhere podcasts are found. If you guys want to help support the show, the best ways to do so is by giving us a like, subscribing, and ringing that bell on YouTube. You guys can drop us a rating and review on the podcast platform of your choice. And the absolute top tier way to help support us is by telling your friends. It's free, simple, and helps way more than you guys know. Other than that, guys, we appreciate all of you. Have a wonderful rest of your week. I always do that. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Stay safe and healthy, and we will talk to you guys again next week. Bye.
I love you.